How goes the Cheesecake Nation? Super Chudge and Dave blasting at you with another vlog sit-down session. And today the topic is comic books.
And more specifically, mostly going to be comic book movie related. We might get into a little bit of comic book discussion, just, you know, what our thoughts are on some of the newer stuff happening, whatnot. But I'd be surprised we really got too deep into that for this video. So, I guess we'll start out with the next comic book movies coming up. We have, first and foremost, obviously, Avengers 2. It's got a lot of press. I mean, I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to set up Black Panther. We might get Claw. I know a lot of people seem to think we're going to get Claw in this one. I mean, Andy Serkis does kind of look like Claw in the trailer. I mean, I don't know who else he could be playing. Everything so far for that looks pretty good. I'm a little worried about, you know, the twins mostly.
Yeah.
Mostly because, I guess, minor spoiler alert. I don't think it's really a spoiler, but I guess they're looking at bringing Quicksilver back for Age of Apocalypse. So, I can't imagine the Avengers version being a better version of Quicksilver than the X-Men version, when the X-Men version has so much history you can use.
Yeah.
But they're calling it Miracles for now. I got a feeling by the time we hit Inhumans, Wanda and Pietro will be Inhumans, and that they can't be mutants. So, yeah. Thoughts on it? I wouldn't do it, but whatever.
Yeah,
I think they're better characters they could use for the universe, but I've already said that. I'm not going to go into a big tirade about that. Ultron, he looks pretty cool. Not a real big fan of him having a mouth, which is kind of weird. But you know what? I guess they say he can show more emotion, so I'm fine with it. It's not some major issue I have.
Yeah, he looks pretty cool. Looks pretty scary.
Love the voice.
Yeah.
Alright, I guess moving along. Ant-Man movie, I think, is the next one. Or actually, when is Fantastic Four 2 coming out? I think it might come out first. Or before Ant-Man, I'm pretty sure. I think it's got like a end of summer time slot in there. I'm not excited.
No.
I really doubt I'll see it. Maybe I'll check it out, give it a chance, but it's just consistently letting me down in a row.
Yeah, like...
Not to mention, I really want the rights to revert back to Marvel, so...
Yeah. I mean, like... I wasn't thrilled about the whole, you know, what they were doing with the main Fantastic Four members. No, I thought it was passable. It wasn't the worst thing they could do. But then what they were going to do to Doctor Doom was just like,
yeah.
No, I'm done with this. Just no.
I'll be the first one to address the elephant in the room. I'm not a big fan of race changing for movies. I mean, I know a lot of people were like, oh, what they did with Nick Fury, but Nick Fury was black in the Ultimate Universe, and then he was such a popular character, they made his son black in the Standard Universe. So that draws from something. Johnny isn't black. Step-brother, sister thing is weird and unneeded. Young, they're all young. I didn't like. I feel like Chronicle was fun, but it's not some movie where I'm like, oh my god, let's give him everything we've got.
Yeah.
Same thing I felt about Edgar Wright, where I don't think he's such a huge director where my bullshit alarm doesn't go off. Where I'm like, well, that seems like a dumb decision. I bet you this is going to suck. But, yeah, whatever. I mean, I want it to fail personally, so.
Yeah. It just needs to go back to Marvel.
Yeah.
Just one of those things.
Yeah, I mean, if you can't do Doctor Doom right, don't do Marvel films. I mean, he's the coolest villain they have. Period. Alright, now Ant-Man looks weird. Just weird. I mean, I know they've had a hard time with marketing Ant-Man, so I can see why they would make changes. I still don't agree with Scott Lang being the focus of the film. It's just, he's not that deep a character. I don't really think he has the story necessary to really build a film franchise on him. Like, I kind of feel like he might be a one and out. Like, he'll be background character for other movies.
Yeah.
But even that, there's nothing really to Scott Lang. Unless, like, they also make him a scientist, I guess. But why would Tony or Bruce need another scientist? Especially if Black Panther's also being added to the universe. It's just... And you have Dr. Pym, who it appears will probably have a hand in Ultron. So you're just going to get kind of bogged down with a bunch of scientists, which is fine in the comic universe, because you have like thousands of stories individually going, like, around. This is one narrative where you have like 8 scientists. So, I don't know.
There's only so much you can do with it. It's just...
Yeah.
Not most well thought out.
So moving on from that,
got the upcoming Spider-Man movies, the Carnage versus Venom versus Carnage and Sinister Six.
Yeah, Sony's kind of in a state of flux. I don't think they expected the amount of rejection Amazing Spider-Man 2 got. So you're gonna have to see major changes there. Like I've always said, I think keep the tone lighter. It's Spider-Man. He's not particularly a dark character. He has dark stories, but I think the best Spider-Man is a happy, fun Spider-Man.
Yeah, and the dark stories have always been few and far between, and they only happen during major, changes in his life.
Yeah.
It's
just, I wouldn't do it. Like I said in my first comic book video, I would completely drop the Peter's dad thing. I think it's a dull storyline. I think a lot of casual fans of the series that don't know who the mysterious bad guy is. You should know if you really know your Spider-Man history. I'm not going to spoil it in this video, but if you think he's somebody, you're wrong. He's literally the character he is. Like, he's just a shitty character and a shitty subplot. So hopefully that'll play out very quickly and get the hell out of the way. Sinister Six, I'm just like, I'll give it a shot. I don't know. I'm not too hyped on the whole universe, pretty much.
Yeah.
Venom vs. Carnage just kind of feels like name recognition as of right now. Maybe if I see trailers and casting and stuff like that, it looks good.
Started getting a little bit more excited about it. But
yeah, as of right now, it's just like...
With how Amazing Spider-Man 2 went...
And I wasn't a fan of Amazing Spider-Man 1, so...
Yeah.
So far they have 2 strikes with me.
Yeah. And I didn't dislike Amazing Spider-Man 2. I liked it a hell of a lot more than the first one.
Yeah.
I think they fixed a lot of the problems, but then there were still some major problems that they didn't really address, unfortunately. But, it's kind of like what they did right, but what they did wrong, they still did really wrong, so it still kind of outweighs what good elements they had in it.
Yeah.
So I'm still skeptical for these new movies that are supposed to come out. I love Spider-Man. It's my favorite comic book franchise. But, like, I will give them a chance. I will probably go and see them. Venom, like, I love the symbiote characters. Those have always been my favorite characters in the comics. And, obviously, Spider-Man 3 really let me down with their portrayal of Eddie Brock and Venom. Let down a lot of people. So I'm hoping that if they do this, they can do it better, which I don't think would be very hard. And then, it's not so much now that Eddie Brock is scaring me, it's what they're going to do with Carnage. Because Carnage is one of those kind of characters where, unless he's that deranged psychopath, like, he's not going to work.
Yeah, I kind of get what you mean. Like, a lot of the Amazing Spider-Man moments have kind of felt very young adult to me.
Yeah.
They feel kind of like a Hunger Games. Like, that's what they're trying to go for, like that kind of feeling. And I don't feel like Carnage could fit into that kind of universe where you kind of have either very... I don't even know what to describe it as. Like, it's just very emotionally manipulative kind of moments.
Yeah.
where like that's how they get a lot of their stuff. And then you have like the kind of the more happy, cartoony stuff. Like, I feel like what they try to do with Electro, I feel is what could ruin Carnage. Where like he's trying to be a serious character, but like everything else around him is just kind of like just weird tonally.
Yeah.
So I worry about Carnage. Venom, I don't feel like Venom has that strong of a like a personality where I think it's more you get the action with Venom down right, and you should be all right. Like you don't have a whole lot you have to beat when you're trying to beat Spider-Man 3 in terms of Venom portrayals. So don't fuck that up, and you should be all right.
Yeah.
Amazing Spider-Man 3. What I'd like to see. I'd like to see more of the beginning of Amazing Spider-Man 2. Happy Spider-Man doing his thing. And then you have like a Sinister Six that are evil. And they can be scary, but don't make it dark for the sake of being dark.
Yeah.
Like, you could have them do big scary stuff. You know, you could have your... I would personally have cut Doc Ock. Just because we've already seen him. That's just me, personally. I would have added in Shocker. Just so we have somebody different, a Spider Rogue we haven't seen. Because Spider Rogues are maybe at the same level with Bat Rogues. With like, maybe you would argue a character like the Joker or Two-Face are bigger. But when you look at most of them, they kind of even out. You have Venom and Goblin.
Yeah.
And yeah, you kind of need a Goblin in every Batman or Spider-Man universe.
Yeah.
So I have no problem really with them bringing back Goblin, but I don't know. I feel like we didn't need Ock back. Ock is amazing in Spider-Man 2. It's going to automatically be compared to that.
Yeah. Which people, you know, I mean, a lot of people are at odds of whether the first Spider-Man or the second Spider-Man is better. You know, just because of Doc Ock's character.
Team Raimi. But, yeah. Alright, so moving on to the next. The top over the other company, DC's got some pretty cool stuff coming out. Batman vs. Superman, I'm not really too worried about anymore. I kind of got a feeling it might suffer one issue that Amazing Spider-Man 2 suffered, and that's trying to set up too much in a movie and stretch the plot thin, which could be an issue. And if that's one I would definitely look out for. Like, if any exec somehow stumbled upon this video, that would be the one I'd be most worried about. Because I don't want that to happen to ruin their universe before they get it. Suicide Squad doesn't seem to really even be Suicide Squad from the rumors we're hearing.
Yeah.
Of Manta and Lex and all that. That's not the Suicide Squad. Just call it the Injustice League if you don't want to do Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Call it the Legion of Doom. Call it whatever the hell you want to call it. But it's not the Suicide Squad. I mean, you could replace Waller with Lex and set it up, and then later on bring in Waller to lead up the second generation Suicide Squad, which could be cool. Manta, he's kind of a weird character to me. Like, I'm not a huge Manta fan. Maybe there are Manta fans out there. But I don't know. In my head, I don't picture him as, like, a name.
Yeah, it's just kind of weird to throw him in there when...
I guess if you are really looking at Will Smith to bring him in, and you want him to play a black supervillain, there are very few really cool ones, especially with Rock playing Black Adam. So, I don't know. Because, I mean, I could already assume he doesn't want to play Black Spider.
Yeah.
Nobody. It's just a throwaway character. I heard people throwing around he might play Captain Boomerang. But again, the same thing. I don't like race changing, and is he also going to just randomly also have an Australian accent? Are they going to cut that out of the character? It's weird. Don't do it. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a Manta fan. He could be a really great Manta, and you know, that is a character who has a nice base, and then he could jump from that and add to it. So, you know what? Maybe he makes Manta awesome. Still weird, not a Suicide Squad character.
Yeah.
I assume Will Smith wouldn't want to be all CG'd up to play King Shark, so I kind of understand why you want to switch those two. But then again, Manta wears a fucking helmet. And if he takes away the helmet, it is going to bug me.
Yeah.
Because Manta without his helmet would drown in the water. Like, there's no... It would just be weird. Like, I understand Marvel does it now. Like, Cap wears his mask like only half the time. He's like, oh, fuck, let me take my mask off and get in there. Like, why'd you even bring that to the fight, Cap?
It's just, just have to wait and see how that goes, what they want to do with them. And just wait for more information to come to light.
I will say one thing, because I know a lot of people are kind of concerned about bringing a Harley before Joker, but you also have to keep in your back of your mind, kind of mumbling there, this is supposed to be an older Batman, so I think we're going to retroactively introduce the Bat Rogues. Like, these are already active people, and we'll slowly meet them, probably in Arkham, but I don't know. I'm down to see Suicide Squad. Hopefully we'll see some more, standout characters. Characters where I go, you know what? That's a member of the Suicide Squad. That's a member of the Suicide Squad. The Harley stuff, I'm down with her being in it. I know she's a recent addition, and hopefully she's not the only real one. Hopefully we can see a Deadshot, Killer Frost, some of those kind of characters. I didn't know. I would personally love if we got a couple cameos from some lesser villains just to kill them off. I don't give a crap. I know we just got Clock King and Flash. Kind of a little spoiler. He was just a cameo, but it was really cool if we got him. Killer Moth, perfect character just to bring in. Like, I have the power of moths. And you just shoot him in the face or have his head explode or whatever the Suicide Squad's deal going to be this time. No problem with Lex. I'm going to give Eisenberg the benefit of a doubt. I don't know. I feel like it's weird casting. But, maybe the actor fits the role. Maybe after it I'll really like it. But I like a more mature Lex. Like, that's how I picture him in my mind. But I'll give him a chance. Wonder Woman. Not a big fan of the director they chose. I just feel like, in my opinion, if Wonder Woman fails, there is no DC cinematic universe. It stops there.
Yeah, it's...
Suicide Squad is, to an extension, a Batman movie. I mean, you're going to see a lot of Bat Rogues. I'll just tell you right now. Like, I'd be willing to bet on it. Wonder Woman is the first non-Superman, non-Batman character. You need that to succeed. If you can't get the third member of your Trinity's movies down, what hope is a Flash movie?
Yeah.
What hope is there for a Cyborg movie? That scares me. I understand the idea behind it, the PR behind we want a female director. And then you had, I can't remember her name, she was the director of the Punisher Warzone.
Yeah.
Coming out and saying she wouldn't want to direct it because she doesn't want the hate if it fails to be against all female directors. And I respect that.
Yeah.
And I kind of understand where it's coming from. I really wish people wouldn't think that way, but I can understand that is a big thing that would come back to bite her. But again, Wonder Woman has to succeed for a DC universe to take off. There is nothing. Like, you might as well write it off if it fails. And I don't mean it has to make big money, but as long as people enjoy it and want to see more coming out of it, then you can do something with it. I don't think it's going to make huge money. I know a lot of people are like, oh, it'll probably make Thor money, but I'm like,
If it's
Marvel
lucky.
has a universe, and people go to see the Marvel movies because everything is in universe, and it's like missing an episode of a TV show and being like, oh, what happened here? I don't understand. Why is this character dead? Well, you see, in this movie, this happened, and you're kind of asked out. Whereas, my biggest problem with the DC ones are we're already seeing some of the movies aren't going to be in universe. Shazam, which I talked about in the last video, is not going to be in the standard DC movie universe moving forward. In my opinion, that's going to hurt Shazam a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know why they would do it. I've heard rumors, and I hope they turn out to be true, of they want to do 2 Earths and eventually build towards a crisis where they fight each other, which could be cool. And I've heard